He has already taken the oath the last time, so we just want to remind him of the oath that he took. Mr. George, you took the oath last Thursday, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, Friday. And you are reminded of the oath that you took on Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On Friday, we gave you an opportunity, being a stranger in Parliament on that day. Today, you are not a stranger because you've been invited officially to give an account of what happened. But on that fateful day, we assume that you were a stranger. Our first question was why you were here. And maybe I want to repeat myself again as you watch the video. Why were you here on the 30th of January 2025?
My counsel want to come in.
Unfortunately, your counsel did not take an oath. And so your counsel can whisper or advise you.
You are to provide the answers.
Okay, so, counsel.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, we wish to raise an objection to the evidence that was elicited from our client on Friday. The basis for this objection is that contrary to the standing orders of Parliament, he was not advised of his right to counsel before evidence was taken from him. And the evidence which was taken from him was not just bordering on matters of fact, but it was bordering on matters of law, including his knowledge of the standing orders of Parliament. For us to proceed presently with those pieces of evidence on record would be too prejudicial to his interest, and we respectfully ask that the evidence that has already been admitted be expunged from the record.
Okay, the committee says that we'll start afresh. We'll expunge this Friday's statement from our record. On that note, it means that we'll start afresh. So can you take the oath now, if you don't mind? Yeah.
I, Judge Glory Opeku,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. George Glory Opeku, you have watched the video.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Were you the man who was moving up and down in the video? Did you see yourself in the video?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Can you tell us why you were here on that day, 30th of January 2025?
I was here as a citizen to witness a proceeding of vetting the nominated ministers of state.
Thank you very much. You were here as a citizen to witness a vetting of ministers that were nominated by His Excellency the President. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So it means that you were not invited by any of the nominees?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Were you cleared by our security officers for you to enter the vetting room?
Duly so, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the question again. Were you cleared by security officers, either the marshal or the police, to enter the vetting room? Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Follow-up question. What was the nature of what did the security do?
They asked, where are you going? I even asked them, where's the vetting room? They directed me to the room here. Without asking any question. I even asked them, where's the floor, where's the room they are vetting the nominee? And they directed me here.
And that was all the security clearance? That was what they asked?
Exactly so.
So you got down here, or you got down at the car park, down, and then you walked up?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you.
Under follow-up, let me find out where the security base, was it at the gate there or just at the entrance of these premises?
From the gate, I passed through a system here, check out a system here. And then I met two policemen here. I asked them, is that the place they are vetting, or the vetting is going on? They said, yes. They asked me to enter.
Did you pass through Job 600 or just this entrance?
Where is Job 600?
Where we have our offices, that tall structure, that Job 600. At least you can pass through that place and to link here. Or you came directly from that place. There's security down there to check you. I want to find out where exactly.
The complex nature of your place, I can't tell where I passed through. But one thing that I remember clearly is that I request, when I reach the gate, and I request where is the vetting room, they direct me 2-3 stages. And then I met a policeman here. Is that a vetting room? I said, yes. And they allowed me in.
A follow-up question. There are two, when the vetting is taking place, you have two entrances. You have got this one, and you have got one at the back there. I want you to be clear. Which one?
This place.
This one.
This very one.
Mr. George Glory Opeko, the standing orders of Parliament, Order 6, which is the interpretation part of the orders, page 9. And I want to read. Stranger includes a person other than the president, the vice president, the speaker, the chief justice, a minister, a deputy minister, head of an independent constitutional body, or any other person permitted by the speaker to enter the chamber who is not a member or an officer of parliament. So I want to ask you once again, were you invited by the speaker or any other person to enter into the chamber? The chamber here means the vetting room.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. George Opeku. Order 288, page 157. Page 157, page 288. A stranger shall not be admitted into the house without authority of the Speaker, which may be exercised through the clerk to Parliament. I want to ask the question again in reference to this order. Were you given an authority by the Speaker through the clerk, or in this instance, the chairman of the appointment committee to come to the house?
No, Mr. Chairman, but this does not apply to the sitting of the appointment committee. And my lawyer is happy to explain further.
What is the name? George. Mr. Glory, do you know that a committee of parliament is parliament? Do you know that a committee of parliament is parliament? Do you know that, or you don't?
It depends on the context.
So I will read again Order 2882 for you to clarify. A member shall not admit a stranger into any part of the house reserved for members while Parliament is sitting.
Are you clear on that?
Order 2882, Rule 2.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gloria, it will do you a lot of good if you don't engage in a debate. Just answer the questions honestly, as much as you can. Because a committee of parliament is parliament. It's defined in our standing orders. So you don't know. Say you don't know.
I don't know, Mr. Chairman.
And so, I can understand your confusion, and I want to explain to you. This is also an opportunity to do a little education. Even the main chamber, we have got public gallery. So when the public, they come in, they go and sit in the public gallery. And so the chamber is where the MPs, where they debate. And so when you come to the committee's meeting, you see a place reserved for members of the committee. And you see another place reserved as gallery. And so if you came in, whatever means you used to come in, you should have gone to the public gallery and not come to where the members are. And so where you came to, this door, entering here, you were in Parliament. Do you agree now? So to assist you, 2882 provides that a member shall not admit a stranger into any part of the house reserved for members while Parliament is sitting. So any part of the house reserved for members, and this is part of the house, and this part is reserved for members. And so
my counsel want to come over.
you want your counsel to offer some explanation? Okay, very well.
Thank you, the chair and honorable members. We take the view that the standing orders of Parliament distinguish between admission of a stranger into committees and admission of the stranger into the House. For example, Order 2 is very clear, whilst 288 deals explicitly with admission of strangers into the House. There are specific provisions on the standing orders, particularly Order 266, 2661, 2677, and 271, which deal specifically with the committees. And that's why we've taken the view that the rules that apply to the House do not automatically apply to the committee. This is not to suggest that a committee is not part of Parliament, but in the instance where the rules have made a specific provision for the admission of a stranger into the committee, for a committee hearing such as the appointment committee hearing, it would be those provisions that apply.
Counsel, we just want the witness to understand. We are laying the ground rules for him to understand. If you go this tangent, it looks like we'll have to educate you more. When we talk about proceedings of the committee shall be held in Parliament, that's what we are doing now. But where the members of Parliament sit is totally different from where the gallery is. That is why when all of them, I mean those who are out there, are not sitting here. This is the sitting of the Committee of Parliament. Yes, it is public, but we have clearly this designated sitting area for members of Parliament, and that's what we want to establish.
Mr. Chairman, we agree with you on that point. The issue we are raising is that the conditions for admission into a committee is different from the conditions for admission into the House. The committee referred to the conditions precedent for admission into the House, which was on the prior approval or authorization from the Speaker. If that provision were to apply, then the chairman of the committee could not even invite someone to a committee hearing. But for public sittings, there is a presumption under Order 266 that it is public, unless the committee decides otherwise. And the committee in this case hadn't decided otherwise. So we are not dealing with the attendance issue at this point, the position within the space, but on the right to come to a public committee hearing. And that's why we took the position that Order 288 does not apply. That was the only limit to our statement.
The rules in this case applies to even here. You quite remember the witnesses that came. We were asking them how many people were invited. And they said 10. Some even went beyond the 10. All because the rule states that before you enter any part of the House, you should have an instructional authority from the Speaker.
Mr. Chairman, we agree, but that was dealing with the House and not any part of Parliament. With respect, the House, even under Order 55, is constituted when the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, or the member presiding is present. And that's why we are drawing that distinction.
So,
we are not denying that the committee can decide to hold private sessions where no one can come without permission. The rules are clear on that. We are not denying that the chairman of the committee can ask anyone in the committee session to leave. We are just saying that when the committee is holding a public hearing, the public does not need further authorization to come to the hearing.
Respectfully, Counsel, I don't think you are right. In the sense that if you want to extend that argument and say public hearing, we are going to say that we are going to suggest that all Ghanaians are invited to the hearing. That is not the intent. The intent is that it is not going to be limited to only members of Parliament. That is what it means by public hearing. Public hearing means that other members of the public will participate in that hearing, but that will be on invitation. And so if you have received an invitation, then you will not be considered as a stranger. And so that is the point that we are trying to establish.
Mr. Chairman, the fact that it's a public hearing, the courts, for example, the Supreme Court, is open to the public. It doesn't mean every Ghanaian citizen will fit into the court. That's not what we are saying. But we are saying that we do not need any authorization to present yourself to say, I want to come and observe proceedings in the Supreme Court. That's the only distinction that we are making. And even for private sittings, that is where the rules specifically require authorization from the chairman before you enter. The rule only limits it to private sittings. And if you permit me, I would refer to Order 2677, which says, if you permit me, I would read, that a person who is not a member of a committee may attend in-camera meetings of the committee subject to the approval of the committee. It is in-camera sessions that you require the prior approval of the committee to attend. That's the submission we are making. And we are making this submission only because it has been suggested that he could not have presented himself for admission to the committee without an invitation. That is a separate question. That's a separate question to where he should be once he's admitted.
Counsel, I think that you are not appreciating the standing orders of Parliament. This House is governed by rules. It's governed by standing orders. And so the standing orders have provided for who is a stranger. And I'm saying that, or we are saying that as a committee, that this person was not invited. And by that fact, he came in here as a stranger. He was not invited. He has admitted it. And further, the point is being made that even though he managed to get himself into the presence of Parliament, he was only entitled to stay at the public gallery and not where he came to. That's the point that we are making.
Let me add this to it. The order that you quoted is with members of Parliament, in respect of members of Parliament. If committee sits,
I'm just clarifying which order.
This one, order 2677. A person who is not a member of a committee may attend in-camera meetings of the committee subject to the approval of the committee. And in that situation, it is the chairman of the committee that may approve. And it is members of parliament, not those from outside. So that is the standing order.
With respect, the specific provision dealing with members of parliament is 2676, which says a member who is not a member of the committee. For such members, they do not need prior approval. Under 2676, they may take part in the proceedings of the committee automatically, unless the House or the committee concerned determines otherwise. However, so the other situation is any other person who is not a member of parliament, and we are saying that he fits that category, and in that case, he would require the prior approval. And on the last point about who a stranger is, nothing in the standing orders of parliament suggests that a stranger cannot come to committee proceedings. The definition of stranger only limits it to a class of persons. And that's the submission that we are making. And if you fall within the class of persons described as a stranger, then you have to use the specific rules on how a stranger should be admitted. That is all we are saying. And when it's a public hearing, a stranger doesn't need prior approval. When it's in camera, the stranger then needs the prior approval of the committee. That's the only submission we are making at this stage. Indeed, there are rules for the removal of a stranger from the committee.
We perfectly agree with you that the rule 7 talks about a private person. Our argument or our question, simply put, is that if you are not a member of parliament, there are places designated for members of parliament either to sit during the committee meetings, because committees are open to the public, and whether he agrees that he has violated that rule.
Mr. Chairman, I do agree that during a committee hearing like this, no one can just come and, for example, sit at the table. I agree with that point.
Thank you very much. That's all we are looking for. We don't want any long argument.
No, I only had to raise that point because of the premise to some of the questions, that he was not even
Don't
allowed.
worry. We are not here to witch hunt. We said it from the onset that we are here to, it's a fact-finding committee.
Very well, very well.
Now, honorables, Mr. George Opeku Glory, can you tell us on that fateful day what you were doing here in this committee room?
Mr. Chairman, I was here to witness the vetting of a nominee by the AGM.
You were here to witness the vetting of nominees, not any specific person. Is that right?
I was particularly interested in Sam George and Okujeto Ablakwa's nomination vetting.
Did you get any invitation from Honorable Sam George or Honorable Okujeto to come and witness their vetting?
No formal invitation from them.
So you came as a public interested person to witness the two of them, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So, Mr. Glory, you came just as a spectator, is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So, since you don't have any formal invitation from either of them. Do you know Honorable Some George in person or Honorable Samokuje to Abraka? Do you know them in person?
Yes.
How do you know the two of them?
As a comrade. They are not my family person. They are comrades.
They are comrades?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. His Excellency has nominated so far 56. Why does it mean the rest are not comrades?
I was busy those times, so I was not trying to, spend time with the other 50 or 60 people.
So if you have the opportunity, you'd have stayed, you'd have been here for all the 56, right?
I will not. But what I've seen, the route, I won't come here again.
Can I?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. Mr. George Opoku Glory, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
I'm a businessman and a Ghanaian, a taxpayer.
3 words. This is too short. We are trying to identify the stranger, as we were just arguing about in the standing orders. So tell us about the stranger called George Opoku Glory. Describe yourself a bit more. We are trying to understand, we are trying to know you, because you are not a conventional person in this premises. You said you came because of the vetting of 2 particular nominees.
We have a series of business. Whatever you do in this committee have effect on the business committee. And we have investors who are watching this program vetting live on television.
You mean business community, right?
Business community.
Okay.
So that is my reason of, paying particular interest in how Ghana move forward.
So you are interested in the vetting of the foreign affairs, nominee for foreign affairs and the nominee for communication. Are you in the business, your business, does it cover those 2 areas, or there's a particular reason?
It covers entire of all the nominated persons, cut across board.
So what business do you do?
I'm a trader.
Trading in?
Just a trader. So
You trade in?
Can you tell this committee how you trade in? What business exactly do you do? Or you don't want to? If you don't want to, no problem.
Okay, you see, we are doing this because we are just trying to establish who Mr. George is. Because on those, ever since they started the appointments committee, people are coming to support nominees, you see. But yours was peculiar, because on that day, you actually came to take part in the action. You were seen here, and then you were seen here, and then you were seen behind the table. You were all over the place. And that is why we are trying to know who you are. You could have been a security threat. You could have been just a visitor. You could have been just somebody who is curious, or like you said, a comrade. We are trying to understand you and your motive for moving from where you are sitting to the back here, crisscrossing the room. That is what we are trying to understand about you. What brought you here?
I'm here to witness the nominee. That is my reason of entry this room. Aside that, I have nothing else as a security threat to the committee.
Okay. All right.
Follow up. You have answered that question twice. I asked you and you answered that you were here as a spectator. Then you have just stated that you were here as a spectator, simple. But the video shows that you were not just here as a spectator. You have seen the video, and you know from the video that you were participating in the commotion. So you left the arena of being a spectator and you moved into one of participating in the commotion as recorded by the video. That's what we have seen. So we are coming there. Is that right?
Mr. Chairman.
You participated.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm asking you participated in the commotion.
I participated to bring calmness. They started fighting. I was. Okay. To bring calmness. Even now that the proceeding is going on, when I see you are fighting among yourself, I will leave you and separate you. So put this on record.
So next one.
So we will not get to that point anyway. So we will not need your services. Thank you. So again, I'm asking this question again because of your movement. When we trace your movements in this room, it was a cause for concern. It was a cause for worry. And it's just an advice. And next time you come to the precinct of Parliament or any other place where it is the security, even though this is representative of the people, there are security measures that they put in place. And the next time you can find yourself on the foul end of the law, if you just, out of your own volition, when nobody has sent you. Because as you see, you have sat here for a few of the hearings, I've seen you. They have marshals. It is their duty to keep the security and the law and order in this place. Not you. I hope you understand. Comrade.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Zaneto.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Mr. Poiku, when you came into the Appointments Committee room, where did you sit initially?
I was sleeping here. I was sleeping at the back there. I take a leave of a lady at the stream end there that I want to take a little nap. In process of that, I started hearing banging on the table. If you ask them, they can tell you. That is where I was sleeping.
Thank you.
I was virtually sleeping.
So, Mr. Honorable Chair, just so the record will reflect, he was pointing towards the public gallery as where he sat. So, just to clarify, you came in through the doors that are adjacent to where the leadership of the committee sits, and you walked past and sat in the public gallery. At which point did you cross over back to where the members of parliament were?
It was a point when the chiefs started shouting, "What are you people doing? What is happening there?" They virtually started moving out. Then I stood up from where I was sitting from the gallery and came here. When they started throwing the chairs, mature people standing up, taking chairs, throwing on the table.
Thank you, Mr. George. So, as the chiefs were exiting, you decided that you should move to where the commotion was happening?
No. I stood here for a while, and there was no amount of weight that can stop them. So I went there. I moved from there. And they said, "What are you people doing?" I know a few of them. I mentioned them, and I said, "What are you doing? Just take it easy." That's what happened.
But
I'm not the one.
That is the question I'm asking, and I'm looking for a response to my question. Per your response, you're confirming that you moved from the public gallery to where the members of parliament were located. Is that correct?
Where the riot was happening.
Kindly answer the question with a yes or a no. Can you confirm, per what you've just narrated, that you moved from the public gallery, which is where you were seated, to the side where the members of parliament were located and engaged in an exchange?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And based on your moving to where the members of parliament were seated, what did you observe? very simply, if you can just mention in very short sentences.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I saw a lot of the guys at the other side fighting each other and throwing table.
Well, we don't have guys here. We have honorable members.
Honorable members. Because upon that time, I don't know who were there, seriously, because I have no special tag to identify who is honorable, who is behaving the way they are behaving. So upon that time, I don't even see any tag. All I see is chaos or riot.
Thank you very much. So per your response, you are confirming that you could not distinguish who a member of parliament was from any other person as you moved to this side of the room, correct?
Yes, except the people I know personally.
Would you care to mention the ones you know personally?
Honorable Kojetu Ablakwa was sitting here, and Honorable Gomashi, also the lady who was tapping her to take it easy. That is, and then Honorable Akando. That is the people, I know them by the names, but I don't have personal relationship with them.
Mr. Glory, you said you moved to this place because of the commotion which was going on. Where was the commotion taking place? There or here?
Mr. Chairman, I said that I moved there to bring calmness to the place, to bring salvage to the, or to salvage the situation.
So the question that she asked is that, do you know the people? Because you are saying that you don't know the people, and you are giving the impression that members of parliament were engaged in a scuffle, and you wanted to calm their nerves. Were you not aware that it was members of parliament who were seated at this side? Were you not aware? And you didn't know any one of them?
From what I've seen was chaos or riot that time. I don't know honorable person or this. I saw riot in the house. So my duty, or my civic duty, is to bring calmness. That is what I have done.
Mr. Opeko, as you moved to this side of the room, were you aware of, first of all, were you aware that there were marshals in the room?
No, please.
Perhaps I should ask one question before that. Do you know who a marshal is?
I have no idea who Masha is.
Okay, perhaps we can give a definition since your lawyer is here, and then we can proceed with the next question. So as my colleagues are getting the definition so that you understand, in summary though, the marshal is responsible for keeping order. Yes. Yeah, so when you find it, I'll read it. Yes. On the
Page 33, order 50. Order 50, Rule 1. There shall be an officer of parliament called the marshal. 2. The marshal shall A. Bear the mace before the speaker in procession into the chamber and recession after the adjournment. Attend upon the speaker in the house. Carry out directives of the speaker for maintenance for the maintenance of order in the House. Carry out directive for the Speaker for the maintenance of order in the House. That's C. Carry out directives of the Speaker or the Clerk for the maintenance of order within the precincts of Parliament. D. E. Ensure the safety and security of I. Members and officers of the House, and II. Property and precincts of Parliament. And F. Perform any other functions that may be assigned by the Speaker or the Clerk.
Thank you. Mr. Pegu, are you clear with what's been read so far?
I am clear, but I have something to say.
If I may finish my questions. Thank you. Given that in your previous response you have admitted to not knowing who the marshals are, but now I've given you context as to what their role is. In hindsight, would you still have moved from the public gallery, given the fact that now you know that there are marshals and this is the role they are meant to play?
Even that fateful day, you cannot identify who Marshal was because they were overwhelmed. Because some of them, I think, I can't see.
If I may, Mr. George, it's only a question. If you don't have an opinion to offer on that, I can move on to the next question. Shall I move on because you don't have a response to that, please?
Move on.
Very well. Thank you. Were you close enough to the table that got broken on the day?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Do you recall whether you were actually part of the group that was holding the table, or were you beyond the boundaries of that specific table?
I was at the back of some group of people here.
On the table that was broken, is that correct?
No, behind the table.
Yes, you were behind those who were holding the table, is that?
No, I was behind the people who were holding the table.
So you were behind the people who were holding that table?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, was there any point in time that you also came in to hold the table?
A gentleman who opened the table and entered upon what sometimes difficult time, rushed from here, entered the table, was start shouting like so what is going to happen here is not going to be easy. Okay, he quickly jumped from this place to the middle of the table where the Counsel started falling.
Can you identify that gentleman if we...
I think everybody says Jerry, Honorable Jerry Shaibu, yes. And so he was trying to lift up the table and hit on one of the, I don't know if it's a media person or a marshal. That is why I quickly went and held the table. Yes. To hold the table, not to collapse on the gentleman.
Okay, so maybe you would want to change your response, because the initial question I asked was whether you were close to the table. My second question was whether you touched the table. You said you did not touch the table initially, but you're confirming now that you were holding the table. Yes. And may I continue?
Go ahead.
Just for the record, the table you're referring to is the one that was lifted and that lost its two legs, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me ask you whether you have any regret for the role you played on that very day.
As my civic duty, I did not regret of the way I was able to salvage some of the damages, or they should have done more harm to what is going on.
So that means given the opportunity in future, you'll still do it.
Now that I know what is before me, I'll consult or I'll take proper invitation before coming to salvage the taxpayers' money.
I must be frank with you. The last time we met, the marshal, we encountered the marshal. He also admitted that at a point there was security lapse. But let me advise you, if you are not invited, please don't come in. Because to me, when we saw you, we were just finding out, is he, this man, a member of parliament? So we had to stop and say, no, he's not. So he's a stranger. So what was he doing here as a stranger? Even though you came in to salvage the situation, you were not invited. So that's uncalled for. So let me give you just simple advice. In future, in parliament, there are rules. So when you are not invited, please don't come in. That is not right, because it's a security threat, because you may not know who you are. Okay? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I take your advice, and thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Glory. You have admitted that you came in as a spectator. Before my question, let me just give you this analogy. We have a football match, and then we have got the players on the pitch, and we have got spectators who go into the stadium to watch the match. So there is confusion between the players on the pitch. You, the spectators, would you ask the spectators to go in there and try to resolve the matter? I'll get an answer for you.
Mr. Chairman, in future, I'll advise myself.
So, this body, this committee, is conducting this investigation. And part of the findings of the committee will be who and who are responsible for the damage that was caused. So you have admitted here that you participated in that exercise because you wanted, I say, you have admitted that you participated in the exercise. You can't deny it. But you did it with the intention of salvaging or saving property. That's what you are saying. So if the findings of the committee are to the effect that the people who were responsible for this thing, they will be surcharged with the cost. Are you prepared to be surcharged with the cost?
Mr. Chairman, the one who who restore calmness should be charged for the damage. Meanwhile, those who cause or who destroy the property.
I want an answer to the question.
Please, can you repeat the answer?
I said those people who were involved, if they are being surcharged with the cost of the things, because you were seen and you have admitted here, listen to me, you were seen and you were admitted here, that you were holding the table. That is an activity. You were holding the table. That's an activity. The table subsequently fell and the legs were broken. And so if all those people who were involved in that exercise are being surcharged with the cost of the breakages, are you prepared to be surcharged with that particular cost since you were involved?
No, because my involvement is to reduce the damage, but not to cause further damage. So I shouldn't be part of surcharge, rather to praise my ability to restore calmness.
You want to be praised for your activity. You were a stranger here. You were not supposed to be here. But you want to be praised. Oh, okay.
Yes, Mr.
You
Chairman.
didn't want to be a stranger. Oh? You didn't want to be a spectator. You became a citizen. That's what you did. But you did it at the wrong place and at the wrong time. So I will plead that possibly tell us something. Yeah. The next time, my humble advice, please don't do it.
Well, it is not for us to say you'll be set charge or not. Ours is to find out those who are involved. So we are in the process. This committee will submit its report to Parliament, to the Speaker, and then to be discussed at the plenary. And then the outcome of our finding will show either you have to be set charge or not. We cannot determine whether you'll be set charge or not. But my colleagues will continue with the questioning.
My last question. Now, you came in as a spectator and decided on your own to assign yourself without any directive from the Marshals Department, the people who are responsible for maintaining law and order within the presence of Parliament. Without their directive, without their authority, and you decided to assign yourself to do what you did. Are you prepared to bear the consequences of your assignment?
Mr. Chairman, if the committee need to do something, rather to appreciate my effort as a civic responsibility to restore calm, because I didn't contribute to the program.
Mr. Opeku, I will humbly advise you to restrain yourself on the tangent you're moving on, because the rules of engagement in Parliament are clear, and you don't want to be held in contempt of any of that. This is not a witch hunt, but the reality is you infringed on certain rules with regards to your movement within this specific area. So I believe that in actual fact, when it comes to the issue of whatever the consequences will be, whatever they will be at the end of it, just like in a court of law, Parliament does have the right to place certain impositions with regards to sanctions. And in the same way as if you're asked to pay a fine when you go to court for something, if such a thing is the ruling of the committee, as a law-abiding citizen, you are not allowed to say you will not comply with it. And it's just a piece of advice in letting you perhaps avoid that tangent that you're going on with regards to your responses, please.
Let me just advise, in addition to what Honorable Zaneto has, if you look at Order 38 of our standing orders, Order 38 and Order 39. 38 is where Parliament determines that the stranger is guilty of contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege. Parliament may order that stranger not to enter the precinct of Parliament for a period of not exceeding 9 months, whether or not that period extends beyond the ends of the session. And then 39 says punishment of a stranger in contempt or breach. A stranger who is guilty of contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege is liable to a fine not exceeding 250 penalty units, or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or to both. Where a person is committed to a term of imprisonment under Rule 1, the Speaker shall direct the Marshal to notify the Director General of the Ghana Prison Service to give effect to the decision of the House. I just want to avert your mind to the fact that this committee can recommend that you are a stranger and you are actively involved. So please be measured in what answers you give us. We are not witch hunting. We are only finding what has happened. And if it is to the effect that you are actively involved, whether you are protecting property or you are actively involved, for us, we are to determine those who are involved. So please be measured. My colleagues says they don't have any answer, any questions for you, but I have a lot of questions for you. Mr. George Glory Opeko, on that fateful day, the 30th of January, he decided to walk into the precinct of Parliament to witness the vetting of two honorable members who were nominated by the President of the Republic. You're on record to say that you were here not by the invitation of any of them, but by the fact that you heard that they were going to be vetted. That's why you came. I want you to confirm that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You also told this committee that you were cleared by the security of this house, and then you came in through this door that was meant for the members of Parliament, and you went to the public gallery. You sat at the public gallery. You wanted to take a nap, and then when you heard a commotion, you woke up and moved to where the MPs were sitting. I want you to confirm that. Shall I repeat the question again?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
That when you came, you told this committee that you passed through this. You went to the public gallery where you sat. And then when you heard a commotion, you moved from the public gallery to the committee sitting area. And then from the committee sitting area, you got yourself involved in the activity here. I just want you to say, to agree or disagree with me.
Mr. Chairman, I am not aware that place is for MPs only, where the riot was taking place. Okay. Otherwise, I won't go there.
Good. So when you came, why were you not seated among the MPs or where the MPs were seated, but you were asked to go to the back or where the public gallery is?
There was no place to sit around.
So if there was a seat here, you'd have sat here, right?
No, I need to be ushered in to sit, not to sit by myself.
So you were ushered to sit at the public gallery. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
That means that that place has been clearly marked for the public. Is that correct?
I don't know.
So when you moved from the public gallery, and I want to use the word public gallery, to where the committee sitting area, where the MPs were supposed to sit, and then you got yourself involved with the members of Parliament, don't you think that you were endangering your own life?
Exactly so. Because I put my life on the line, which I learned a lot from it. It won't happen again.
We are here to meet as a committee to decide on what we witness. But it is clear that you've admitted holding the chair at the table.
Mr. Chairman, when the chair was, the
table.
When they leave the table, want to hit the wall.
Do you want to watch the video again? Maybe you should watch the video. Can you show him the clip again?
I'm okay, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. George Glory Opeko, we want to thank you for attending upon this committee with your counsel. The committee will call upon you again, or Parliament will call upon you again when needed. Thank you so much. You are